Most people spend their entire lives waiting for a cinematic confession, a rain-soaked "I love you," or a grand, expensive gesture. But here is a harsh reality that your favorite romantic comedies definitely hid from you. Love isn't found in the lines of a script. It's hidden in the microscopic data of human interaction. If you think you know how to spot a soulmate, this one psychological truth will roast your entire dating history. Anyone who asks you this specific question is madly in love with you, and you've probably been ignoring it because you were looking for a gold star instead of a lifeline. And trust me, this only gets crazier. The question isn't, "Will you marry me?" And it's not, "Do you like me?" The question that signals a level of devotion that borders on the biological is, "How are you really?" On the surface, it sounds like small talk. But in the world of clinical psychology and neurobiology, this question is a high-stakes bid for connection. We are currently living through a global loneliness epidemic.
Look closer.
Where 1 in 4 adults feels socially isolated.
Don't be
We are
afraid.
surrounded by thousands of digital friends, but have zero emotional safety. We've become masters of the fine thanks culture, a defensive mechanism designed to keep people at arm's length. When someone breaks that script and asks you how you are, really, they are performing a type of emotional labor that most people are too exhausted to even attempt. They are asking for permission to enter your inner sanctum, and in a world of infinite scrolling and 5-second attention spans, that is the ultimate act of devotion. To understand why this matters, we have to look at the psychological impact of emotional neglect. Many of us grew up in households where our external achievements were celebrated, but our internal world was a no-fly zone. This creates a condition called alexithymia, the inability to identify or describe your own emotions. You walk through life feeling a heavy gray sludge in your chest, but when someone asks how you are, your brain defaults to, "I'm good." This isn't just a communication gap, it's a developmental consequence. If your parents only interacted with your mask, you learned that the real you is a burden. When someone asks you, "How are you really?" they are effectively saying, "I am willing to carry the weight of your mask for a moment so you can breathe." This is what Dr. John Gottman, the world's leading expert on marital stability, calls a turning toward moment. In his Love Lab at the University of Washington, Gottman found that couples who stayed together turned toward these bids 86% of the time. Those who divorced, only 33%. Imagine you're a character in a documentary where the narrator is the only one who knows the truth. In 1938, Harvard University began the Grant Study, the longest-running study of human happiness in history. For over 80 years, they followed 724 men to find the secret to a good life. The conclusion wasn't wealth, fame, or even health. George Vaillant, the director of the study for 30 years, summarized the findings in 5 words. Happiness is love. Full stop. But love in the Harvard study wasn't defined by passion. It was defined by attachment security. It was defined by the presence of a person who cared enough to dig past the surface-level answer. The cost of ignoring these deep inquiries is catastrophic. If you continue to settle for surface-level relationships, you are effectively living in a state of high-functioning loneliness. You have the job, the partner, and the social calendar. But your vagus nerve, the longest cranial nerve in your body that regulates your social engagement system, is in a state of permanent shutdown. In adulthood, this manifests as chronic fatigue, doom scrolling to numb the emptiness, and a terrifying fear of being seen. If you don't address this, the long-term effects are a silent divorce from your own soul. You become a background extra in your own life movie, waiting for someone to notice you're drowning while you're standing in 2 inches of water. So how do you heal? How do you shift the narrative from "I am a burden" to "I am worthy of being known"? The first actionable step is to accept the vulnerability. The next time that person asks you, "How are you, really?" stop the "I'm fine" reflex. Wait 4 seconds. That 4-second gap is where the healing happens. It's where you decide to drop the curtain. Try this reflection prompt tonight. What is the one thing I'm currently feeling that I'm afraid would be too much for someone else to hear? Healing is not a linear journey. You will have days where you shut down and go back into your shell, and that is perfectly normal. Your brain's safety officer, the amygdala, is just trying to protect you from the perceived threat of rejection. Be patient with yourself. You are trying to rewire decades of defensive programming. I want to validate what you're feeling right now. If you feel a tightness in your throat or a sting in your eyes as you read this, it's because your real self is finally being acknowledged. You aren't too much. You aren't dramatic. You are a human being with a profound need for attunement. It is safe to be seen. It is safe to take up space. If you feel you need deeper exploration, I highly recommend reading The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk, or looking into emotionally focused therapy, EFT. These resources don't just give you tips. They explain the biological architecture of why you feel the way you do. Remember, overcoming this emotional wall is the ultimate form of personal growth. When you finally answer that question honestly, you aren't just helping yourself. You are giving the other person the greatest gift they could ever receive, the truth. By overcoming the fear of being too much, you reclaim your life, your happiness, and your ability to be madly in love in return. Science isn't perfect, but it proves one thing. You weren't meant to carry the weight of the world by yourself. You were meant to be asked, and you were meant to answer. So the next time someone asks you how you are, really, don't lie. Just wait for the next chapter to begin.